In the land of Egypt, there once lived a cruel and tyrannical ruler named Pharaoh. He was a wicked man who enslaved the Israelites, a people who had been chosen by God to be his special people. Pharaoh forced the Israelites to work hard and treated them very poorly. One day, a baby boy was born to an Israelite couple. The couple knew that Pharaoh would kill any male Israelite baby, so they put the baby in a basket and set it to float on the Nile River. The basket floated down the river until it came to the palace of Pharaoh. Pharaoh's wife, Queen Assia, saw the basket and ordered her servants to bring it to her. When she opened the basket, she found the baby boy inside. She was so moved by the baby's beauty that she decided to adopt him and raise him as her own son. The baby boy was named Musa, which means drawn out of water. Musa grew up in the palace and was treated like a prince. However, he never forgot that he was an Israelite. He was also aware of the cruelty of Pharaoh and the suffering of his people. One day, Musa saw an Egyptian overseer beating an Israelite worker. Musa was filled with anger and he struck the overseer dead. Musa knew that he had done wrong, so he fled from Egypt. He traveled to the land of Midian, where he met a shepherd named Shu'aib. Shu'aib took Musa in and gave him a job. Musa married Shu'aib's daughter, Zipporah, and they had 2 sons. One day, while Musa was tending to his flock, he saw a fire burning in a bush. He approached the bush and he heard a voice calling to him. The voice said, "I am God, the Lord of all creation. I have chosen you to be my messenger to the Israelites. Go to Pharaoh and tell him to let my people go." Musa was afraid. He said, "Lord, I am not a man of words. I am slow of speech and tongue." God said, "Do not worry. I will be with you and I will teach you what to say." Musa returned to Midian and told Zipporah what had happened. Zipporah encouraged him to obey God's command. Musa then set out for Egypt. When Musa arrived in Egypt, he went to the palace and demanded that Pharaoh let the Israelites go. Pharaoh refused. He said, "Who is this God that I should obey him? I do not know him." Musa warned Pharaoh that if he did not let the Israelites go, God would punish him. Pharaoh laughed and said, "I am not afraid of your God." God sent a series of plagues upon Egypt as punishment for Pharaoh's disobedience. The plagues included blood, frogs, lice, flies, livestock disease, boils, hail, locusts, and darkness. Pharaoh still refused to let the Israelites go. Finally, God sent one last plague. He killed all the firstborn sons in Egypt, both human and animal. Pharaoh's own son was among the dead. Pharaoh was so grief-stricken that he finally agreed to let the Israelites go. The Israelites left Egypt and traveled to the Promised Land. They were led by Moses, who was a great prophet and leader. Moses led the Israelites for 40 years, until they reached the Promised Land. He died on Mount Nebo, just before he was able to enter the Promised Land. Moses is a great example of faith and obedience. He was a man who was willing to stand up to a powerful ruler, even when it meant putting his own life in danger. He was also a man who was willing to trust in God, even when things seemed hopeless. Moses is a role model for all Muslims, and his story is a reminder that God will always be with us, no matter what challenges we face.